academic identification is the importance and significance of academic activities to the self-concept. Students who do not regard academic performance to be pivotal to their self-concept demonstrate low academic identification and are at a greater risk for attrition. Sustained school success requires identification with school and its subdomains. Societal pressures, including economic disadvantage and peer pressure, can disconcert this identification. In school domains where certain groups are stereotyped, those who have become domain identified face a further barrier of stereotype threat. Major speculations centering on black academic underachievement included lower expectations from teachers as a result of prejudice and negative stereotypes, according to Rosenfeld. Wenzel discovered that teachers, particularly white ones, held more negative expectations for black students than others. Researcher L. Good found that lower teacher expectations manifest themselves in these teacher behaviors. Teachers provide students with less and insincere praise. They offer less feedback. Teachers demand less effort from students. Teachers interrupt them more often. These students are criticized more and smiled at less. Students are seated further away from the teacher. Cultural deprivation is also considered a factor in the low performance of black students. Bloom and others viewed academic disparities as a result of the lack of nurture as opposed to nature or genetics. These theories found that black students' families failed to transmit values and cultural patterns essential for academic achievement. Cultural deprivation theorists felt that schools should aid disadvantaged families in overcoming deficits caused by families and communities. This posture was instrumental in Johnson's War on Poverty and the subsequent development of Head Start programs. Another body of thought claimed to study the relationships among intelligence, race, and genetics, Herrnstein, 1994. These researchers stipulated that there is a general factor of intelligence, often labeled G, according to Jensen. Geneticists considered the low performance of blacks on standardized tests, as well as tests of intelligence, to be an indicator of innate intelligence of certain groups. These theories contended that some European minorities, Jews, Hungarians, Italians, and Russians, as well as Native Americans, were inferior. Combative to these theories, John Ogbu developed a cultural ecological model to explain black academic underachievement in 1981. According to this model, blacks have been discriminated against in the educational system. Their inferior education precludes opportunities for higher education and high-status employment. This causes blacks to relinquish their scholastic efforts earlier than whites as a result of social and economic adversities. Ogbu developed a categorization of minority groups. Autonomous minorities have not been subordinated economically or politically, such as Jews or Mormons. Case-like minorities or involuntary minorities came to the United States as slaves. Immigrant or voluntary minorities came to this country for economic betterment. Case-like minorities often reject the dominant culture's values, adopting alternative survival strategies. Researcher Claude Steele disposed that high attrition rates among African American males are a result of low academic identification. African American students may begin to chronically disidentify with academic domains. This process, called academic disidentification, allows students to protect their self-esteem despite poor academic outcomes. This presumption was supported when Osborne found that black American high school students ascertained higher levels of self-esteem than white students despite poor academic performance. Barriers to minority student achievement. Lack of student engagement or failure to identify with academics, called academic disidentification. Negative stereotypes constituting lower teacher expectation for black students. Ogbu's cultural inversion theory. The burden of acting white causes some students to reject academics because of negative peer pressure. The truth about numbers in black male achievement. On the average, 60% of black males do not graduate from high school. In 13 states, only 30 to 40% graduate on time. Black male students comprise only 8.6% of the population, but account for 22 to 23% of expulsions and suspensions. Engaging resistant students. Peer pressures often ignite testosterone, often culminate in violence or disruptive behavior. Teachers and others must utilize proactive measures to counteract negative societal pressures faced by black males. Teachers should seek for advocates or mentors. Minority student achievement networks should be established at each school. We should create equitable learning environments. Consistent evidence that schools are not supportive environments for people of color. Schools must become communities of inquiry. Teacher leaders must disaggregate data, analyze, and systemically discover where the gaps are. Then we must use this data to guide instruction. Thank you.